always an honor to be part of the African Economic Congress to moderate this important panel on amplifying women's economy, participation in the economy. And especially that Africa today is still facing the consequences of the COVID-19. Before asking my first question, to Mrs. Chisom Malombi, which is the former vice chairperson of the Development Agency. I would like to start just with very few statistics. Let's say that women today perform 60% of the world's work and also produce 50% of the food. But the problem is that they earn only 10% of the income and own only 1 to 2% of the property. Outside of the agriculture sector, which employ a vast majority of women in both developed and developing countries, women is still facing a lot of issues, more specifically that they get an average less than 78% of the wages compared to men for the same work. Now, with the situation of COVID-19, it impacted more women, more specifically than in Africa. A great number of women work in the informal sector. Mrs. Chisom Malombi, you were vice chairperson of the Zambia Development Agency, and of course, you've been in the front line of the facing COVID-19, and you know that women were the most impacted. My question here: what is the role of women in the economy, and what are the effective mechanisms that should be put in place to ensure their full participation in Africa's development? And I would like to know whether this period of COVID-19 make you change your approaches of development so that you can mitigate the socio-economic impact of COVID-19 on the economy and more specifically on women.
Yes. Thank you very much. A great opportunity to be here. Greetings all the way from Lusaka, Zambia. Am I clear? Are you able to get me loudly?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, so yes, I have been in the forefront in terms of handling COVID in the country and the world, actually. Something that is quite new to us, and a lot of discoveries. We've been learning along the way. I think globally we've been learning along the way. But there are a lot of things that come out, especially in respect to women. I have always believed in gender equity rather than gender equality, because I have always respected a woman's role in society. And a woman's role in society has, though I've respected it, it's never been understood and equated at a level that it should be equated. We as women are definitely different. It's automatic. And this is bring out our strengths, for instance. So the women will be in the house wailing and cooking for everybody else. So in a Zambian setting, when there's a funeral, we all gather in one place. So the men are actually sleeping outside, the women are sleeping in the house. So whenever anybody comes to this funeral, the women are crying because they're the emotional being. The women are feeding everybody else. The men are outside, they're arranging for the coffin and all those things. One role is no greater than another role. So, and that's where we need to understand that though we are different, our strengths there's no strength that is greater than another strength. That is where the equity part comes in.
I have a quick question to build on what you just said. In many countries in Africa, especially during COVID-19, they have developed programs to mismatch like a kind of a strategy to balance women's professional and personal life, because there are new burdens and new responsibilities that arise during coronavirus. And I want to ask you, have you seen any other emerging priorities? What are the challenges that you have seen, especially on the ground? And what mechanism you use to overcome them?
So in fact, even as a ZDA board, we were having a session and a lesson maybe a month ago. We had a very bad outbreak of COVID. And one of the things that was being discussed is this gender balance that has to be brought in terms of policies, because it's such a cultural aspect for most of our African countries, even ours. And also it's to do with the regulatory environment, such as government legislation. There have to be policies that support women economic empowerment. It has to be deliberate. It has to be in the policies at every level of society, be it strategic. At the strategic level, there has to be a balance in terms of gender, and it doesn't have to be a balance to a point where an unqualified person is put there. But it has to be deliberate in the fact that there are so many qualified women. And I think the greatest thing is what I was trying to come to, where the way we are perceived is regarded as a weakness. So and I think this is a strength. I have started a lot of organizations that have succeeded, but in the processes of starting those organizations took women first to reach a certain stage, because the women were more thoughtful of how it will impact the very bottom. The men were not active until a point at which there was money coming in. That's when they now become active. That's when they now want to become a CEO or heading this organization. So it actually shows you the role that a woman brings in. A woman will be more deliberate in ensuring that the most underprivileged benefits. It's seen as a weakness, and yet that is the strength. That is the main.
Yes, I'll come back to you later. I just wanted to ask Mrs. Isamail, who is former member of the Moroccan Parliament, and actually she is elected member of the City Council of Rabat, because you mentioned Mrs. Shisoma, the importance of a regulatory framework, and since Mrs.